We're going to do our check-in like we always do, see how you're doing and what's your word for today. We're going to go over where we are with the WIMSIM. We had a great work group meeting yesterday, so the members who are on the call will report out on where we are with the planning for the WIMSIM event that's happening at World Clinic. We'll talk about what's happening at World Trials with our women's coffees, and there's a party, and then our speaker for today is Amanda, who's been on most of our calls, and so she's stepping up to give our talk today, and she's going to talk about transitioning and negotiating your value as a club coach being essential for collegiate success. This came up at one of our meetings recently, and so thank you, Amanda, for stepping up and being willing to lead the discussion today. And we'll open it up, as we always do, for everyone to chat about what Amanda talks about, or any other topic that you want to throw out there, maybe get advice on something or share something. That's the time to do it. And then we'll close it out and schedule and talk about our next meeting. So that's the agenda. And so let's start off by going around the horn here and telling us, everybody chime in with what your one word for today is. I don't know that I can go first here. Let me think. Who wants to go first? I'm gonna wait this time.
I can go first.
Great, Mary, thanks.
So the word for today, I think I'm going to use excited, because the state championship is coming and we are so excited about it.
Awesome, good. Okay, I'll start calling out names then. Kristen?
Me, Kristen?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with warm. We're hitting the triple digits here in San Antonio, so.
Okay. Warm. I was gonna say, that's a good one. I could have used that one. I'm in Florida. Cool. Lauren?
Hi.
Hi.
I would say resetting. We finally wrapped up our high school season, and so I feel clear-headed and ready to get back into our club champ season and respond to all of those other emails.
Yeah. All right, love
it. Get that email box down under 100.
So. All right, there's a goal.
Yeah.
Patty?
I'd say anticipation. This is our last week of after school practice, and then we have Memorial Day, and then we go to morning practices, and we have, the full day, and oh boy, summer kicks off with a bang. One of our facilities we just helped do a big remodel at, so we're pretty excited, and so just anticipating the new season.
Awesome, sounds good. Monica?
I'm going to go with Lauren, and I'm resetting. High school season's over, a successful season, and trying to get back into the club group.
Okay, great. Kaylee? I'm going to stop sharing here so we can see each other. Kaylee?
Sorry, couldn't get myself unmuted.
There you go.
I'm motivated. I have a lot to do today, so.
Well, good. Thanks for jumping on and making this one of your things to do. We appreciate it. Hopefully it'll get you even more motivated to do everything else. Kayla?
I'm gonna say busy. Not stressed, just busy. A lot of things coming up.
Good. Johanna?
For me, the word is going to be behind the scenes. I've been swamped with meet preparations, swimathons, getting our summer programs together, and yeah, I'm just ready for the summer to start now.
Okay, enough of the prep already. Let's get going. Claire?
I'm going to say excited too, or motivated. I'm really excited. We're at the beginning of a season, of the long course season, and we have a lot of really fun things planned. Done a lot of hard work trying to firefighting mode. But I'm excited for the stuff's happening now. So yeah.
Very cool. Jenny Lou, we just muted you. Now you're back. Okay, good.
So I have anticipation and excitement are my words. words for today. I hired a new coach that starts on June 1st, and we're all just really excited to have him coming on deck. So it's excitement and anticipation.
I like that. I think that's probably the case for a lot of people. A lot of new coaches being hired right about now. Let's see, Jenna.
Hi, yeah. My word would be focus for today, I think. 4 weeks out to taper for short course nationals for masters. So focus.
So I'll be at Masters. Hopefully we can connect.
Oh, yay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
Great.
big event.
Yeah, yeah. Ellen.
Preparation would probably be the best word for me. Memorial Day weekend is the kickoff to summer club. So this is the balance week of doing what needs to be done with the club program, as well as getting the pool prepared with the health department and everything opening for the membership on the weekend. So, and it's 90 degrees out, so it's wonderful. Or 80, that's an exaggeration, 90, it's just warm.
It actually is 90 here, so. Yep. And getting ready to not have a weekend for a few months, right?
Oh, yeah, right. There you go.
Edie.
Hey, good morning. The word of the day would be motivation. So aside from, the swim and the admin, and then our conference team is starting next week. The weather is absolutely gorgeous today, so I can't complain on that. It helps. But also motivation on a personal level. So I'm taking time out to actually just focus on myself and health and working out. So that helps everything else. So it's great.
Good for you. Yeah, it does help. It's amazing how much it adjusts your attitude when you're really eating right and exercising. Tatiana.
Hey everyone. The word for me will be planning. We have 3 schedules coming up that because we will lose one of the pools with swim, so we'll have to change the schedule. And then we're going to start going to long course, and then we change the schedule again. And then the swimmers get out of school, and then we change the schedule again. So it's like lots of planning, trying to fit everything they need to do with the new times and new pool location. So it's been busy.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many coaches have told me in the last week or so about how they're losing pool space, or the pool, isn't opening because of repairs, and they're just having to juggle everything.
Yeah, in our case here, we have one of the pools that we use is like a neighborhood pool. And then now with the weather and the summer coming, they need the pool for their own activities. So yeah, that's a struggle for us, but we'll make it work.
Yep, always do, right?
Yeah.
Emma.
Hi.
Hi.
It's hard to hard to find one word to describe how I'm feeling. It's kind of like beaten down, but trying to remain optimistic.
Yeah. Well, let us know if we can help. If you want to share at the end, and we can see if we can get you some motivation that it sounds like you need right about now.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ariel.
I think today is slogging. I'm doing a lot of back end stuff. That's just taking a lot of time and effort. And not to mention, it's also very, very hot where I am here too.
Yep. Did I miss anyone? Going once, going twice. Yeah. I'm going to say my word is anticipation. We've been doing a lot of work here at ASCA on the upcoming Olympic Trials Coaches Hub, and I am really excited. And everybody we talk to about it seems really excited about it. So I can't wait. It's going to be, I think I'm going to be there for 11 days in Indianapolis, and we're going to have the hub open all day, every day. But we have all kinds of activities and sponsors and speakers, and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a blast. Okay, so we're gonna actually, that kind of gives us our segue into our next topic, which is the update on the WIMSIM at World Clinic. So that's another thing that we're doing a lot of work on right now. That's World Clinic's going to be amazing this year, and it's a lot of moving pieces, and it's exciting. And the Women's Symposium that's happening on Wednesday leading into World Clinic in Orlando is on September 4th. And so who from our work group wants to jump in and get started on just kind of giving the group a debrief on what that day is going to look like? I see you, Kayla. I see you, Emma.
I'll go.
Okay.
I think the kickoff, Mackenzie has done a tremendous job in putting together some great ideas for icebreakers to really get the group together and working together and kind of in sync with what's going on. And I think that'll be a great way to get the morning started. I don't want to ruin the surprises. You just need to be there to enjoy them and have fun with it. I also think that with our guest speakers, although they'll have specific things with which they will speak about, it'll also, I think it's important to say that it'll be also in a somewhat informal setting that allows everyone to feel comfortable approaching, talking, and asking questions of the guests. I don't want people to go there thinking that this is going to be, oh, they're going to be up on a stage, and they're not. They're too far. This is a very integrated, I think, opportunity for this to be a tremendous success. Is that fair to say, Jennifer?
Yeah.
And really trying to kick this off, and the first of its kind. So we won't know if there's a problem until there's a problem. We won't know what needs to be fixed until it needs to be fixed. So I think it's just a good starting point. And I think those that are going to be there are tremendous, tremendous people within their positions and are going to offer us a lot. And I think we will be able to offer them some insight as well. And I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, and the guest speakers she is mentioning are Carol Capitani from University of Texas, and also Abby Liu from Bellevue Aquatics out in Oregon. And so we have a college and a club coach, and then we also have Mika Shaw, who is who's going to do mindfulness in the morning, and that's what the profession she's in. She's a former national team athlete, and that is her, like I said, that's her world. That's what she does. She's doing talk at World Clinic on mindfulness. What else? Kayla or Emma, you want to chime in on what folks can expect that day?
Lots of opportunities for networking and building relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Lots of activities that are going to help make that happen, but then also free time too, during lunch and so forth, where we're making sure we have a balance where people can have unstructured time to talk to folks and get to know each other. Anything you want to add, Kayla? No? Yep.
Nope, I think everybody hit it on the head. I think the group's doing a really good job making sure that there are those opportunities for education as well as networking and connection. And I think when I go to things like this, that's what everybody always wants more of. And I think this is going to be a huge opportunity for anyone that can attend.
Great. Yeah. So the tickets are $150 a piece. We actually moved up the start time so that we could put more in. So we're starting at 8:30 and we're going till 3. And it includes lunch so that we can make the most of all that time together. And you can register on the World Clinic website. We did also open it up so that folks who aren't going to World Clinic can also attend. Ariel created a separate registration for that, but it's a great start to World Clinic if you are going, because it's going to give you a whole support system and network right as you go into this 3 days of amazing activities. So during World Clinic, you'll have people that you can be interacting with throughout the days. So yeah, so we already have 15 people signed up, and it's 4 months out, and so we're hoping to get at least 3 or 4 times that. I think it's going to be a great start for our first event. So hopefully everybody can come. And then our next item on the agenda is just, I already kind of touched on this, but at Olympic Trials, we do have a hub at the Holiday Inn, which is across the street from the stadium where the pool's going to be, and it'll be a blast. And we're actually doing women's focused coffees on Sunday morning and Wednesday morning of trials. So the hub itself opens every day at 9 o'clock. So the women's coffee will be from 8 to 9. So women only 8 to 9 on those days. So hopefully you all, if you are there at trials, or if you, please spread the word. If you know any coaches who are going to be there, whether they're just visiting or have athletes or whatever, we hope that we can have obviously as big a attendance as possible to do some networking. Prelims doesn't start each day until 11, so plenty of time to come to the coffee and then make it over to prelims, or hang out at the hub for a while and when the men come in at 9 o'clock. All righty, that is that update. And what was the other update? Oh, also we are co-sponsoring a coaches social after finals on the 20th. And I don't have the location off the top of my head. We're doing it with SwimSwam and Fluidra. They are sponsoring it, and it's a party sponsored by the 3 of us, and we'll start getting out the word here pretty soon. But if you are at trials in Indianapolis, plan on that night after finals, going to that. It's going to be the place to be for some evening entertainment. Okay, that's the updates. Now I'm going to turn it on over to Amanda, who, like I said earlier, has graciously agreed. She's been part of these meetings for quite some time, and she's got some interesting information to share. She's the coach at Tulane and has been a club coach, so has some valuable insights on, and was mentioning to us that, you know, there's a lot of college job opportunities now, and they are looking for females. And so I'm not going to take your thunder, Amanda. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Thanks for being here.
Oh, there it is. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I am excited to go through this with y'all, and I am also going to ask you, if you're in a place that you're comfortable, to please share your screens, because I got some questions for you to get started, to kind of know how we can navigate through this. So if you got your screen open, what I'm looking for is, if you're interested in going into college coaching, you know, I always ask people, why be a college coach? You know, so do you think it's going to be a better pay? And if you think it's going to be a better pay, raise your hand. Okay. Do you think it's going to be better hours? Okay. Do you think the kids are going to be more motivated, that they're not being required to be there by their parents? Okay, now we're getting some hands. All right. And do you think that there's less parent involvement? Okay. I don't want to burst your bubbles. Those are all myths. Those there's still very much parent involvement. There is still you still have kids that aren't motivated, and we could talk about that offline another time, but just trying to gauge some of the reasons why is what I hear from club coaches and why they want to do it. And I'm not going to lie, I can remember my first experience college coach. I thought, I want to do this because less parent involvement. And my goodness, I was shocked. So what I'm sharing with you is a picture of how it all kind of started. So it started in a town of just over 5,000 people. Swimming is still behind, I would say, in that area. My parents, my sister and I lived at the pool. My parents were the pool managers of the city outdoor pool, and they were also my
Hello?
first set of swim coaches. And so I got to learn my work ethic from them. And I find that important to share because it did start with Summer League, that experience. You know, when I got into college as a student athlete, I really worked hard to find a place that I could contribute and I would get to compete. And whether you went and competed in college or not is not a deal breaker in being able to coach in college swimming, but it was the why I was doing it. I narrowed down my schools to go to Youngstown State because at the time it was one of the few within 3 hours of where I lived that was accredited by the American College of Sports Medicine. And it was one of, I think, 3 schools that offered swimming. And I think it was one of 2 that was Division I. And it was the only one I could walk onto. And so that experience was worthwhile for me to go into it. And getting there was my first experience of having someone say I could be a coach. I thought coaching was what you see here. My parents, not necessarily sleeping on the job, but volunteer. That's a volunteer gig they were doing. I didn't think coaching could really be a good paying job. So I always pushed back on that wasn't the real thing to go into. He helped me get set up with some experiences as an athlete. And some of it is areas that you need to learn about on recruiting. Oh, back then it was a big book. You went through and looked up every high school address and phone number and called them, hoping they would share the information of student athletes' addresses. I got to talk to a lot of people that way. It was not fun for me, but I had to get out of my comfort zone. But still, like once I got through college, I coached club the last 2 years with Trumbull YMCA and Penguin Swim Club. And it was my first dip into coaching, but I thought I wanted to be a college coach. And this is the goal. This is the path. The path has to be a GA and then get a job. And I even wrote a bucket list that I would be a head coach by the time I was 35 of the Division I team. I couldn't find a GA position anywhere. They were all full, the timing, and again, I was being particular. If I'm going to get my master's, it's going to be a worthwhile degree. I'm not just going to take some joke degree. I don't learn well being in a class I'm not interested in. So I was impatient, and I believe everything happens for a reason, but I was impatient and wanting to know in February, March, where I'm going to be, where most GA positions weren't really decided till the summertime. I didn't trust that process. I rushed that process. And I got a maybe from James Madison that I could maybe volunteer with their team. So I accepted a teaching assistantship and I went to JMU to work on my kinesiology master's and a focus in sports administration. And I got there, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to go, and found out there's no volunteer position. Okay, what am I going to do? Well, I can be a TA. I can take these classes. School's being paid for. Didn't lose anything there. Maybe coaching isn't it for me, and I could have gave up then. But there was a club team in Harrisonburg, Virginia that was available, and they were looking for a part-time, hourly, just show up when you can, help out, backup coach. Okay, I can do that. I'm certified. So I started coaching with Valley Area Swim Team, and during those 2 years, I moved from being a substitute coach to being a, consistent on the schedule with their younger age groups. And now I'm trying to wrap up my master's and decide what's next. Well, I still would like to be a college coach. I've worked swim camps, which I highly recommend anyone get their hands on. Being able to do as coach is a lot of fun. I worked at the Texas swim camp for 3 summers, and maybe I'm supposed to not be a college coach. Maybe I'm supposed to be a professor. Maybe I'm supposed to be a teacher. And again, I rushed decisions. I was dating a gentleman at a time, and he was in Atlanta, and I thought, okay, I want to be closer to him. I've got into UNC. I got into UGA for a PhD program. I'm not going to go into coaching, but I'll coach still on the side. It'll be fun. And I chose UGA to be closer to my boyfriend. And I was there for about a month. The Olympics were going on, and everyone here is old enough that you do remember 2008 Olympics and how exciting it was. You had to be living under a rock if you didn't know swimming to not know who Michael Phelps was. And while I was there, I was going to help out with ABSC. That was the plan. And before their season got started, I just was blown away in this program. Things we were going to study for recreation leisure was video games and having kids actually actively studying the benefits of sitting and playing video games. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm into. I'm into movement. This is against everything I value. And I had a tough conversation. Why did you bring me here? And they said they brought me here because we like to bring good scholars in to change their mind on what they want to do. I'm stubborn. You can't really change my mind on a lot of things. And that's that. I missed coaching. I quit. I've never quit anything. That was really scary. I mean, I literally turned in my keys. I'm done, withdraw from school. Not impulsive in any way. It was just like, this doesn't align with me. And during that time, they had no idea the Olympics were on. We had like a little welcome get together thing. They didn't want to watch the Olympics. This doesn't compute. So my husband was coaching at Dynamo, boyfriend, now husband, was coaching at Dynamo Swim Club at the time. And I had convinced him he needed to take that job a year ago. He was trying to find a job, and I was like, this is the greatest move you could ever make for your coaching career. And so when I called him on the drive home that, hey, I quit, I'm not doing this, I need to find a coaching job, he said, let me call, my boss, and that was Jason Turcotte, and I'm going to let him know I'm calling around for you, not for me, just so he's not confused by that. And when he called Jason, Jason's like, why does she work here? We have 2 locations. You wouldn't be at the same location. I have a position available. So in 1 week's time, I went from working on my PhD to being hired at Dynamo Swim Club. And that wasn't luck. In some ways, it does sound like luck. My boyfriend's working there. I can remember actually one coach, and she didn't remember saying this, but she said, all I know is you're Bo's special friend. That's how you got hired. I know nothing about you. And I emailed her my resume during that comment while we were working in the cubicles, because I'm like, I'm way more qualified than that. And this is what I can do. Let me know how I can help out. And that was important to me because I didn't want to be known ever, whether as a college coach or as a club coach, as a token female. I'm more than someone's girlfriend. I'm more than just the female in the room. I'm more than just the 10 and under coach. Now, when I sat down with Jason and he talked about the roles he had available, I made my first mistake, and I got offered, you can coach a senior group or a 10 and under group. Which would you feel more comfortable doing? And I said, well, I've been coaching 10 and unders. I didn't say what I wanted. I said, I've been coaching 10 and unders. And I say that's important because whatever's easiest, whatever comfortable for someone else, whatever you think is best. I was very passive in my language and communication then. And so I got 10 and unders. I coached over 140 10 and unders between 3 groups from 2:30 in the afternoon until 8:15 at night. Again, I don't regret. Everything happens for a reason. Those 2 years where it was only 10 and unders, I got better at coaching and development. I got better at communication, using that master's degree, let me tell you. But also I had to communicate with parents. I'm now onboarding all these parents into what the coaching club world looks like, what our expectations and development and moving forward. So there was value in doing that. But as I'm doing it, I miss coaching, the older kids. And this picture here is one of the last pictures of coaching with 10 and unders. When I was in the end of my second year there, I sat down and I started having regular meetings with Jason in what I wanted with my career. And I wasn't certain at that point. I knew I liked the idea of working for USA Swimming, but I also wanted to be a college coach or be a head coach of a club team. It was still so broad. And he's like, well, the next step is get you back into coaching high school age kids. That's going to help you with anything. So I got a senior 3 group at Dynamo that at the time was 45 athletes. And I was still coaching, you know, picture here, our top age group, 10 and under group. That 10 and under group is an amazing group that they're now all done with college. I don't know if any of y'all recognize the one athlete there, but the one with the really crazy blonde hair just above my head is Brooks Curry. He was one of my 10 and unders back in the day. And when he qualified for the Olympic team, I had all these kids reaching out for my group. They remember my beginning of the year speech always that one of you could be on an Olympic team. We are not going to pursue 10 and under records. We're not going to pursue to be the best as a 10 and under. We're pursuing to do everything right to be on the record board for when we're 15 and older. That's when it matters the most. Do you want to do those things? So it was cool to have that come out. So it was nice to work with the top end 10 and unders. And then those senior kids, that group was just not the commitment level group. I had a kid who could not swim a 50 fly. And I had a girl in there that was a NCSA junior qualifier in like multiple events. And who wanted to go to LSU. And I'm like, you shouldn't be in my group if you want to go to a Division I school. Like, we got to get you out of my group. You got to do X, Y, Z. It was a wide range, and there was 6 lanes, and you had to get creative in what you're doing in training. And that was mattering later, because as a college coach, you're going to be faced with crazy situations and how you train them. And I got to learn some of that while I was coaching club. So working with these groups, trying to build communication, wide range of parents I'm educating now, but still new parents with some of the senior kids. And we get into that last year of coaching at Dynamo. And as we're getting ready to start it, Jason said, what do you really want to do? And I had done informative interviews with people in USA Swimming. I've talked to several head coaches of club. I've talked to several college coaches, and just like, college coaching is what I wanted to do. And he's like, you need to be a volunteer. I was like, when? My schedule is ridiculous. Like, when am I going to do this? And I just got married that summer, going into my last year at Dynamo. So first year of marriage with my also swim coach husband now. And how are we going to do this? And he's like, if you want to be a college coach, you'll figure out a way. So I reached out to Emory and Georgia Tech because they were close by, and Georgia Tech got back to me. I'll never forget sitting down with them and talking to Marty and Chris specifically. They're just like, you're a club coach who spends over 40 hours, let's be honest, a week, and your responsibilities there, not even on meet weekends. How are you going to do this? Well, I have this availability. How can I help you? There were mornings that year that I couldn't remember which pool I was supposed to be at. Luckily, I usually drove to Georgia Tech first, which meant I could make it back in time for the one at Dynamo. I was leaving my apartment at 4:30, 4:45 in the morning every day. And I was getting home about 8:30, 9 o'clock each night. My husband would get done with his group about 9:15, 9:30. So I hardly saw him during the week. There was a lot of office hours in between helping out, but my commitment level at Georgia Tech wasn't a lot. I was talking about like 3 times a week helping out. But what it did was give me experience that I could put on my resume that I was helping out with a college team. Because that's the one thing that most head coaches are looking for. Have you worked with? Do you understand the rules? Do you know those pieces? So that part was the avenue that got me into it. And from there, as I'm preparing and making plans, I started making vision boards of how I saw what I wanted things to say. I started sharing with others my goal. So as jobs were opening up, people were reaching out and letting me know, because I'm going to tell you, just because it's your goal and you hold it close to your heart, no one's going to help you. And saying you want to do something will just get you one action step forward. Letting know a couple people that are the right people within a committee to help guide you, that's going to give you another step, another push. And I had several people that helped me, and I kept making plans and started interviewing. And I got lucky that I got hired at Rice University and as an assistant, where I spent 6 years in Houston. I'm going to tell you, it was not easy going from club to college. Club has a certain grind that goes on all the time. And then you get like a whole week or 2 weeks or this time off, like scheduled. It doesn't look the same in college. I can remember Seth saying to me that first month I was there, you think this is going pretty well, right? This is pretty easy. Yeah, I love this. This is the life. July 1st happened. Back then, when you could first start calling recruits, that was a nightmare, and all the calls and phone calls and how often you're reaching out to people. But it got better. It got easier. And a lot of that just expanded the world of people I knew and who I was talking to. When I look back, my club time, I learned how to develop athletes. Being a senior coach, even being a 10 and under coach, you learn how to create, season plans. I've been hiring kids to be GAs straight out of college with no club coaching experience. They just think writing a workout, you just write something up and you throw it up and let's go. And it's like, why are we going to do this? What's the goal? What's the plan? I look for assistants that have club experience. I look for people that know how to develop an athlete. A lot of head coaches are looking for that now. You're seeing more club to college transitions. You know how to run meets. You've probably been more involved in the meet management process in some capacity. And that is a valuable thing, because sometimes, until I got to Tulane, you are one that is still running it as an assistant coach. And that was a helpful skill to know. Sometimes I hated knowing I knew that, but it was helpful in being hired somewhere. Customer service. That is a lot of club coaching. You are constantly the front porch of your club team's name. And when you are a college coach, you're going to be the same thing. But you're going to know how to handle the cranky patron because you're taking their lane. You're going to be able to handle, the upset parent, who this is their little darling, whether they are 10 years old or they're 22. You're going to know how to handle those moments. And you're going to understand and learn to appreciate the difference between being a club coach where the athlete is paying to swim, and now in some cases you're paying the athlete to swim. And even though you are doing that as a college coach, that there's some very similarities and the expectations you have for them, and getting them to learn how to use that payment side of it, of just like, I call it the 40-year plan of what they're going to get when they're done. I always look forward to having the end of year conversations with women, and they want to ask for a scholarship increase, because I'd never had anyone sit down and teach me how to ask for a raise. So I want them to learn those skills. And that's also what was a drive to go into college coaching for me. What I would encourage is, I've said it before, action. What action steps can you take? It might start with small and just having the vision board, laying out, what do you want to do? Talk to people, interview people. How'd you get your job? Why do you like it? What do you wish you would have known? Every time I apply for a job, that is a question I ask for the outgoing coach. What do you wish you would have known before you went there? And would have changed your mind? There's things that I've learned about each job that I'm like, I can take that. I can handle that. And there's some that I will not touch that. Volunteering. I think everyone here is being a volunteer coach, and your time is so thin as it is, but it was small in what I did. I helped out with 2 recruiting weekends and 1 year, and I covered usually 2 to 3 workouts a week. And when they were out of town for conference championships, I helped out some more. That wasn't a stretch to get your foot in and then be able to ask them questions. What do they look for? What do they do there? How are things set up? Why is this rule the way it is? I tell you, head coaches are held by the NCAA to a policy of head coach responsibility now. So you want to make sure that your assistants know those NCAA rules so you're not getting in trouble as a head coach. So don't underestimate the value of volunteering, even if it's a short amount of time. Swim camps are always valuable because you're being around like-minded people, and those like-minded people can help you network and connections to possible jobs. Regular conversations with supervisors. Don't assume they know what you want, and don't assume that they're already pigeonholed you into something. I think of that first meeting with Jason. He had no idea I had a goal before I got there of coaching college. And if he would have known that, that could have changed my trajectory. But I also don't regret going through the path I took because I learned a lot from that. So make sure they know what your ideals are and see how they can help you, or if they could put you in touch with people that can help. And then don't be afraid to, take one action step and keep trying to build momentum. Don't be afraid of the no. In the beginning, I said, I wanted to be a head coach by the time I was 35 of a Division I team. And it didn't work out because right out of the gate, I didn't get a GA position. That was the correct path, right? I moved to Georgia in June 2018. And as I'm unpacking all my stuff, I came across this ridiculous bucket list I wrote when I was like a sophomore, junior in college. And I came across that one and I snickered. I'm like, yep, I'm now a head coach. And I was like, wait, sugar. I turned 35 in 5 months. Like that might have been coincidence and luck that happened. It didn't happen the way I thought it was going to. There was a lot of conversations and people led to. I just stopped thinking in a straight line of how it had to be and started focusing on how to be better and get to know the right people to help me. So there was a lot of luck that you could say happened, but there was a lot of hard work. There was a lot of free internships. There was a lot of conversations and calls and connection and getting out of my comfort zone, which includes today, getting out of my comfort zone. I said yes to this a month ago, like, yeah, I want to do this. And then 30 minutes before, I'm like, what did I just do? Because I don't like talking for 20 minutes. I was like, there's going to be a way I can get people interacting on this. I'm like, oh my goodness, we barely raising hands right now. This is going to be fun. I'm definitely better in person, but I tell you, start connecting with people that can help. You got questions, concerns, or ideas you want to do this, you can reach out to me. I mean, I know we got a question and answer session on there too. And the other thing I want to say is important, knowing this is specifically to women, is do not let anyone tell you, I have some peers that have been told this, do not let anyone tell you that you cannot be a head coach and be a mom. Do not let anyone tell you this. Don't let anyone even shame you as an assistant coach being a parent, whether it's club or college. I have watched, my goodness, Beth Winkowski at Dynamo be a single mom, juggle that. And as I have hiccups with my daughter, and right now I'm just like, praise be, we're almost done with potty training. I don't know how she did that without having my spouse. But there always is a will and a way if it's something you want to do, if it's something you believe in. And you just have to put to action and not just sit there and wish and hope. It just takes small steps. And I would assume the first step right now would be, what questions do we have? What first step do you think you need to take, or are you wondering you should take?
I have one right off the bat. Do you find that having the degree has helped you get to where you're at, or do you think that that was unnecessary?
I think your undergraduate degree doesn't mean as much. I do think it's become more common that they're looking for a master's degree for a head coach position. It's been less important as an assistant coach, I've noticed. I would try to get one. I feel like men need it more now since there's less positions. I feel like they're constantly looking to hire women. So I feel like it's more important for a male assistant to get that. I would be more encouraged as a head coach to hire someone that is going to take advantage of the benefits of the school where you could work on your master's degree there. I've seen a lot of people doing that, not in a GA situation. Like here at Tulane, that's something that you're able to do. You could take, I think it's like 1 to 2 classes a semester and work on a master's program while you're there. But make sure someone pays for it. It's not worth it if you're going to be paying out of pocket. Make someone else pay for that. That's a good question, Kaylee.
Amanda, I have a question about payment salaries. So the average of college coaching. I don't have experience with college coaching, but I have some conversations before. They say the college pay proportionally is worse. The payment is worse than club. So is that true, or what is your vision? What can you tell us about that?
I think that it is dependent on the job, and I'm seeing if I can log in. Our coach association does like a salary survey every year that we can like see what some of these look like. And let me get this back up. So assistant coach salaries for Division I on average is about 53 a year. And I'll tell you, some of you are probably seeing that and knowing there's some Division I schools. I can tell you right now, there's one that it's going to be, it's like 60, 65 as an assistant and a Power 5 program. And that is getting up to that range because of some of the benefits they offer. You know, so some of these may not show and demonstrate the benefits. And that varies by school. And I think it's great negotiating pieces you can have. So like you can negotiate for a cell phone stipend. You can negotiate for a car stipend. And that's why the position I'm talking about is 55, but it gets up to 65 with a $800 a month car stipend. So it's just different. That's when they have different deals with local businesses that can help them out on that. And sometimes it's you're using the car from the dealership, or you literally, I mean, I have that here myself. I get added to my paycheck, a stipend for a car that I can use whatever car I want. I don't know if that helps a little bit. And head coach, if anyone was curious, the average is 119. And keep that in mind too on you got some of those big name coaches that, you know, we hear about Bob Bowman signing as the director at Texas, how much that would be compared to, I mean, I'll tell you at my last position as a head coach, I was making $50,000. I know that salary has increased since then, but I mean, the lower Division I program is going to be, you know, relative to what that budget looks like for that school.
So, Amanda, so the chart that you showed us is kind of like a D1, or is like an average for all colleges?
That's D1. Let me see if I can find the better data. That was just Division 1.
Okay.
And there's some, I'll tell you, like I know one Division 3 school in Wisconsin that, I mean, it was 50 or 60 a year, and you're coaching and, you know, they're coaching and teaching a class. You know, when I was an assistant at Rice University, I was coaching full time with them. I coached masters 3 or 4 times a week for a little extra cash. And I also was teaching a class for an extra $1,500 a semester. And that class was a swim class for the, you know, university. And once you made your syllabus for the one class, it was just on repeat. You know, I rotated through and just adjusted intervals by the students coming in. And it was very valuable as an assistant coach because I was able to see what were the kids like on campus outside of my own, you know, team. So the average school combined 1, 2, and 3 is 47,905. And that's 522 coaches have reported on that.
Is that study available on the CSCA website?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's the College Coaches Association.
Yes, ma'am.
It's called CSCAA.
And hold on. This one will come up. So
that's good to know that that's there. We've thought about doing our own club coach salary survey. It's just so difficult to get that information, and you need so much information because club situations are so vastly different, whether it's
Yep.
where they are or how many kids they have, or, you know, there's just so many variables that go into club coaching. But we are going to eventually get there. I just want to do it right when we do it. So, so yeah, that is something that's on the horizon for us too. It's valuable information to have.
And this might help you a little bit better, Tatiana. I brought up, this one breaks it down. First columns, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, NJCA, and the CCCAA. So how much each school pays, and the average is on top. And then 1 year or less experience, they broke it down by experience from the respondents. So that you can see now where you see zeros, that just may be those no one reported on those. It's not that it's 0 if you've been there for 21 plus years. There may not be someone that's been in the NAIA for 20 plus years that's recorded data. But from those that have responded to the survey, to give you a better idea of what that might look like and break down by division and experience.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Thank you.
And a lot of this, if it's a public state school, you can look online and search and find out what their salaries are. I didn't realize that when I became a head coach, and one of my athletes told me they knew how much I made. It was a little weird, but it's something that you can research. I know I do it as a head coach and keeping a running tab of who are possible assistants. And I look through, like, is that someone I want to pursue or not? And can I afford them? You know, you're talking about the cost of living in a city, and would they be willing to leave? Okay, somewhere in California, probably. It's going to be a lot more affordable living in New Orleans, you know, but are they going to leave the Midwest? Maybe not. So just trying to have an idea of what's competitive. So I know you can look those up. Coaches generally would give you a range and of what's available in a hiring process. And I wouldn't be afraid to ask on those. Usually I'm pretty upfront on that. Like, I make sure everyone knows right out of the gate, because why waste your time and waste my time? This is what it is. Are you in or not? And what can we do to supplement? You know, that's normally the next piece. And, you know, I'll work hard to find ways to make raises happen when they're appropriate, but like, what can, you know, what does supplementation look like? Do you want to start a master's team here? Do you want to Do you want to start a master's team here? Do you want to, do lessons? Do you want to be involved in any of the local club teams? Do you want to work camps in the summer? And my dive coach works at a camp for 2 weeks every summer. Sumpillet met his pay.
All right, well, we're coming to the end of the hour. We have about 2 minutes left. Does anybody else have any last questions that they want to ask Amanda? Well, thank you, Amanda. That was really informative. Lots of good advice there and some good information. Yeah, you're getting some comments in the chat. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for stepping out of your comfort zone to do it. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you grow a little. So hopefully you grew a little today.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And I shared contact information in there. Do not hesitate. I really, any way I can help support. And one of the reasons why I said in the beginning I'd do this is I'm always being reached out. Do you know a female coach for college coaching? So like, if this is a step you want to take, let's start getting women into this role. It is a possible thing.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you. All right. So we have run out of time. So we're going to wrap it up. I will give you a little preview. Mary, is it okay to announce you as the next speaker? Mary Masumi is on, and we chatted earlier, or I guess late last week, about having her. She has a really interesting story and a lot of information to share, and she's been joining our group regularly. And so Mary is lined up to be our next speaker on our next meeting, which will be June 18th. And Ariel will probably be leading that call because I'm going to be at trials, and I'm going to try to break away. I will be in the hub, so I may be coming to you live from the Coaches Hub in Indianapolis. But yeah, Mary will be our guest speaker, and hopefully you all will join us. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for being here. Stay in touch. Hopefully I'll see you in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Amanda. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.